Writing. I wonder if these nominations are appearing in the order that they're going to appear at the ceremony, maybe? I don't think so, though. We'll see. So for writing, original screenplay, the noms are... I've seen all of these movies. Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. I think those are very strong nominations. 3 of these movies were in my top 10 best movies for the year, so I think that these are strong choices. For me, personally, in terms of overall quality writing, I'm gonna have to give it to Tar. I think Tar had the most layered, it had the most to say, and it had the most to say in the most unique and original voice out of all these movies. Tar is a movie that reflects on so many things. Primarily, it reflects on power and how people abuse power, but more than that, it reflects on how people in power in today's specific 2023 society or 2022 society abuse their power. I know at first it's interesting. Todd Field, he wanted the main character to be a man. And there are also, so in addition to those topics that I mentioned, there's also, I'd say, some really nice reflections on, so I brought up the fact that originally this character was supposed to be a man, or going to be a man, and then Cate Blanchett came into the picture and they made it a woman, and I think that was a really wonderful choice because it adds a nice layer of nuance, and it also kind of contributes to the conversation and the fact that, it isn't always simply, Harvey Weinstein types who are doing all of this horrible abuse and committing these atrocious acts of manipulation and how do I say this? Just kind of and acts of domination, of just letting their title and their power dominate everything about them. And it is certainly more unusual to hear about a woman in power using her power without discretion to abuse people, to take advantage of people, to have, sexual relationships with people who are a lot younger than them and a lot maybe more naive, and then just kind of tossing them aside and discarding them. And so there's a nice... I think if the main character Tar had been played by a man, it would have been a bit too heavy-handed and would have been too dark and too kind of cut and dry. Whereas with Cate Blanchett and Lydia Tar, the character is really much more a portrayal of just how people in general can abuse their power. You don't have this disgusting, fat, ugly, slobbering movie producer, again, the Harvey Weinstein type. It's an accomplished, successful artist who is seen as one of the greats in their avenue of life and in their industry. And someone who's, kind of has a public figure and a public identity, and they're in front of the camera a lot of the time. They aren't just kind of hiding in the background, lurking. So I think this movie had a lot to say about all those things, but also maybe it also had a bit to say about what set of circumstances create this particular character. Like, why is Lydia Tar the way she is? Well, it's partially because she does identify as a lesbian. And I think maybe there are even inklings throughout the script that if she had been born later, or if she had been able to have the comfort and societal support to explore her sexuality more, maybe she would identify as a trans person, as a trans man, perhaps. I think there are just a few hints to the script that say, you know, maybe in another life, in another society where the timing had been different, maybe this person would have been trans, and then maybe a portion of their abuse and a portion of their kind of ugliness as a person is derived from the fact that they don't feel fulfilled on an individual level, on a spiritual level. And it's really good at analyzing. On the one hand, it analyzes and puts forward this notion of, this is where these people come from, this is where abusers come from, this is how they kind of start, but it does not sympathize with her. It does not tell us, oh no, poor Lydia, you know, it's so sad what happened to her, we should feel bad for her. No, that is not the case. The movie is very adamant and clear about the fact that this is a bad person. This is a bad person doing bad, selfish things. And, yeah, I think so. Yeah, in terms of writing, I definitely think of all these choices, Tar had by far the most layers to it, had the most thoughtfulness to it, had the deepest, kind of most interesting character development and analysis, and it's very relevant to just kind of what's going on in today's society. All right. Best adapted screenplay. The choices are All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, Living, Women Talking, and Top Gun Maverick. I have not seen Living nor Women Talking, but definitely of these options, I would easily give it to All Quiet on the Western Front. I think in terms of big budget, loud, explosive, quote-unquote blockbusters about war, this is maybe the most effective. Actually, I'd say this is definitely the most effective anti-war film I've ever seen. Again, that is within the parameters of big, loud, high-budget, high-concept blockbusters, because I am aware of the movie Come and See, which I have not seen, and I don't know if I ever will, because I've watched like reviews of it, and it seems like it's probably incredibly disturbing. So, yeah, I think All Quiet on the Western Front succeeds massively in terms of being a completely unflinching and unapologetic anti-war film. And the comparison I keep making, just in general, especially like on stream lately, is to Saving Private Ryan, because when Saving Private Ryan came out, and understandably and deservedly so, it is an anti-war film, but I just think that the farther into that movie you get, the more you kind of have these wishy-washy discussions about like glory and like self-sacrifice, when I think the messaging should have been a lot more clear of like, no, this is all bad. There's no justifying this. There's no glory to be had. And All Quiet on the Western Front does a perfect job at executing that vision very effectively. So, yeah, great stuff. Definitely All Quiet on the Western Front for me, but I've only seen 3 of those 5 movies. Visual effects. We have... Oh my god, Black Panther is on here? Dude, Black Panther... The effects in Black Panther were, like, bad. I really thought that visually Black Panther was quite an ugly movie. The action scenes in particular. I think the performances were wonderful. Some of the best performances of the entire year. Not just in comic book movies, but just in general. Black Panther had some of the best performances of the year. But God, the especially I'm thinking about, like, there's a fight scene on a bridge that I want to say takes place at night. That kind of just looked crappy. There's a fight scene towards the end that takes place on a big-ass boat. Did not look very good. Did not carry the necessary weight or visual prominence that's required to make a movie like that effective for its climactic battle scene. Yeah, so Black Panther should not be on here. It just should not be on this list. I mean, the other options are Batman, Top Gun Maverick, Avatar 2, All Quiet on the Western Front. Guys, I'm sorry, it's Avatar 2. I'm sorry, it's Avatar 2. No question. I saw it in 3D IMAX. I've never seen a 3D IMAX movie that looked this good, like not even close. I saw the first Avatar in 3D in theaters, and I kind of had a mixed time. I was kind of like, I just remember it not, that my brain was not quite able to adjust to the 3D that well, so gotta be Avatar. And also, something that a lot of people have brought up in reviews that I think is a great point, is with Avatar 2, a lot of the time you have the character of Spider, who is a human actor. Well, they're all human actors, but the character is a regular human, and you see this character interacting with CG and fully animated Na'vi characters throughout the entire movie. And I just forgot. I forgot that the Na'vi weren't real. And it's amazing because the proportions of the Na'vi are so fucking different from the human actors that are portraying them. It's just crazy. So, yeah, absolutely. Avatar 2. What else could it be? Best sound. Okay, this is an interesting category. We have Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar 2, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. I think one would be, inclined to lean towards Elvis for obvious reasons. And I would say, I don't know, I think I might give it to Batman though, honestly. I just remember that the entire aesthetic of Batman, everything about it, the sound, the visual, the color grading, the lighting, everything about it was super immaculate. And I remember a lot of just the audio tones of the different scenes, like whether it's Batman, driving in his fucking Mustang, Batmobile, whatever it is, blazing down the road, whether he's firing his grapple hook, whether he's kind of like slowly walking through on wooden floors. I do remember the sound for Batman being really wonderful. Top Gun Maverick, of course. I don't know. Top Gun Maverick, it's great for sure. It deserves to be up here, but I don't know. I don't know if it beats the other two. And Elvis, the music scenes in Elvis are fucking fantastic. They're so good. They're some of the best live music scenes in every documentary movie I've ever seen. The scenes where Elvis is on stage and the lights are glaring and there are people like rampaging, trying to get over the barrier to see him, and they're like reaching for him. And obviously the way they got his voice to echo throughout the venues that he's playing in, it's fucking amazing. The musical sequences in Elvis are amazing. Some of the best I've ever seen. So I would either give it to Elvis or Batman, just as my memory serves. Short film, didn't see those. Short film, didn't see those. Production design. Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar 2, Babylon, Elvis, The Fabelmans. I've seen all of these except Babylon, but if you guys will recall from my top 10 best and worst podcast movie stream of 2022, which happened a couple weeks ago now. My co-hosts, Justin and Matt, especially Justin, was incredibly harsh on Babylon. And I have not seen it, but I'm very fascinated to watch it to see where my opinion lands, because I think kind of the way he put it is that Babylon is a movie that it just feels forced, is kind of the vibe I got. The whole thing just feels very showy for the sake of award bait, and showy for the sake of being like, ooh, look at our movie. It isn't like the story isn't really there, the performances aren't really there, the writing isn't really there, but that it looks great, it probably sounds great. So again, I haven't seen it, but I can definitely see how the director Damien Chazelle maybe just kind of fucked things up this time around. So who knows? But in terms of what I did see, production design, it probably has to go to Elvis again, because Baz Luhrmann is just on another fucking level with his visuals and his style and the power of his style. It's so prominent and loud. And I think for a character like Elvis, one of the most legendary, mythic music icons in human history, The production design has to be bombastic and absurd and just ridiculous, and it is. Again, those live concert sequences for Elvis are something fucking else, man. They are something fucking else. So, production design, I don't know how you would kind of bring up production design with Avatar. Like, what do you even say about that? 'Cause it's all like green screen. I guess maybe the idea that they actually did film underwater for like a huge portion of it is pretty impressive. Maybe that would contribute to that, but I think of all these, Fabelmans is excellent. Production design is great. It's very, you know, it's very simple, but it gets its job done very beautifully. All Quiet on the Western Front, though, I think it has to be for me between Elvis and All Quiet on the Western Front. Yeah, I think those are some good production design. Oh, Best Picture already. Okay, I guess since Best Picture is there, I think I'll go to the top and scroll the rest of the way down. Why are these in such a weird order? Oh, wait, is it alphabetical? No, it's not. What the fuck? Why are these in a weird order? Anyway. Actor in a leading role. Oh boy. So this is where the Oscars might get political in a bad way. I've only seen 3 of these movies. Actually, no, excuse me, I've not. I've only seen 2 of these movies. I've only seen Elvis and Banshees of Inisherin. I'm hearing incredibly mixed things about The Whale. Most people seem to agree that Brendan Fraser's performance is really good. However, I've heard some detractors. So I think it's kind of overblown and overdone. Although everyone I have talked to does seem to agree that Austin Butler as Elvis was performance of the year. Just blew it away. In terms of there being a single performance of all time to capture the living legend Elvis in his prime, I feel like you just can't get better than what we got with that movie. I feel like Elvis, just in general, like I definitely have problems with it, especially in terms of the kind of the more dramatic or sad scenes. I have kind of problems with those scenes, but in terms of capturing the essence of Elvis the performer, I just don't know if you can get better than what Baz Luhrmann did. So for me, it's definitely going to go to Austin Butler. I still got to watch The Whale, and I'm sure Bill Nye is very cute in Living. Seems like it's probably a good performance. After Sun seems like it's going to be really fucking sad. And I don't know if I want to put myself through that. So, we'll see. Actor in a supporting role, we have Brendan Gleeson, Brian Tyree Henry, Judd Hirsch, Barry Cogan, and Ke Huy Quan. You know what? I think I have to agree with the hype, and I have to go with Ke Huy Quan. Barry Cogan. That guy? Okay, that's who I thought it was. Yeah, I gotta go with Ke Huy Quan. You know, the fact that speaks for itself, but he's playing a character in the multiverse, so he's playing multiple different versions of himself, and it comes off so well, so effectively. It's good stuff. Definitely, I definitely think it's probably the performance that got me the most emotional of the year. It was actually, in terms of just acting in general, not based on gender, I would say it's between, for me, it's Ke Huy Quan and Michelle Williams from The Fabelmans. Those performances really fucking broke me. Ke Huy Quan, especially the part where he's talking to Michelle Yeoh and he says, you know, we've gone through all the different iterations of his multiverse personas, but finally he just comes to the conclusion of, you know, I just, as long as we are together, I would be happy doing taxes with you forever, as long as we're together. That part really definitely spoke to me. Beautiful performance, beautiful line deliveries, and you know, the variance between his characters is very impressive too. So yeah, I definitely gotta go with Ke Huy Quan. You're going to see Pinocchio on Thursday? Nice. You mean the Guillermo del Toro one? You haven't seen that yet, right? Actually, dude, I'm pretty sure the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio is going to be on the animated list. I think it is. We'll find out though. Actress in a leading role: Michelle Yeoh, Michelle Williams, Andrea Riseborough, Ana de Armas, no, and Cate Blanchett. I got to go with... Actually, this is a hard one. Actually, this is like the most divided I have been between Cate Blanchett, Michelle Williams, and Michelle Yeoh. They're all wonderful. They're all wonderful. Like, in terms of, I think the performance that moved me the most, it's definitely got to be Michelle Williams. But again, Michelle Yeoh, with just the contrast between all the characters she plays throughout the movie, and the groundedness of her base kind of real world character, the one who's stuck with the taxes. That version of that character, I think, is very effective. But I don't know. I feel like just in terms of pure technical skill and ability, it's gotta be Cate Blanchett. I'm sorry, Michelle's. You both deserve an Oscar as well. And if either one of them get it, I think I would be very happy. But I think I gotta give it to Cate Blanchett for Tar. Actress in a supporting role: Angela Bassett, Hong Chow, Carrie Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, Stephanie Sue. I have not seen The Whale, but I've seen the other four. God, Angela Bassett, I gotta say, in Black Panther was so good. The power and the gravitas that she brought to her performance, and, you know, kind of also the gravitas that was necessary to portray the mother of one of the most like culturally significant superheroes who is now dead. Those are big fucking shoes to fill, and she really pulled it off. But you know what? I think I gotta say my favorite of these, I don't know about quote unquote best, but I think my favorite of these was Jamie Lee Curtis. She was so fucking funny, dude. She was so funny. And the weight that she also brought to that supporting role was something beautiful to behold. So I think I gotta go with Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere. Oh, here we go, DKR Patty. Just in time. The nominees for Best Animated Feature are Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Shit, I gotta watch that. The Sea Beast and Turning Red. I also did not watch Turning Red, so I've actually only seen one of these. I was pretty lacking on my animated feature films, but Pinocchio is incredible. The animation, the stop motion animation that they bring to life in this goddamn movie is so unbelievable. It is so crisp and clear, and the movement, and I completely forgot I was watching a stop motion animation movie. It's just, everything is so wonderfully constructed. It's so well realized, so beautiful. The styling of it really fits the tone of the movie itself and the era it's portraying. The design of Pinocchio himself is very unique. So yeah, I've only seen Guillermo del Toro's, and I will go with that. But apparently I gotta see Puss in Boots. My co-hosts on my podcast, Justin and Matt, were saying that Marcel the Shell with Shoes On being nominated for animated feature doesn't really make sense, because it's like one of those movies where only like the two main characters are animated, and then the rest of the movie just takes place in real life. So I don't know how much that would qualify. Maybe shouldn't quite be in this category. Someone named Riz, welcome back. Good to have you. How are you doing this evening? Cinematography, one of my favorite and most beloved categories. I would say for me, cinematography is something that can really elevate an entire movie, even if the rest of the movie is shit. If the cinematography is gorgeous and thoughtful and consistent and says something interesting, it can really, really, really elevate an otherwise kind of shitty movie for me. So cinematography is something that I'm just very visually stimulated by gorgeous ass movies, even if the rest of the aspects of the movie are not good. Cinematography can carry a lot of weight for me. I'm doing well. Someone named Riz. We're going through the Oscar nominations for 2023. The noms are Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, Elvis, Empire of Light, Tar. I gotta give it to Tar, baby. I have to give it to Tar. The way the cinematography puts us in the mindset of Lydia Tarr is phenomenal. The way we follow her and the way the pacing of the movie in general, but also the way the pacing of the cinematography and the way the editing kind of like, it becomes like kind of like more sped up and rapid and like kind of untamed as the movie goes on, which is a direct reflection of what's happening with Lydia Tarr as a character. So I gotta go with that. There's one scene very, very close to the end of the movie. I'll just say it's how do I say this without spoiling it? It's a scene where the cinematography really kind of beautifully complements Lydia Tarr's breaking point, like her absolute breaking point. And for those who have seen the movie, it's the part where very close to the end of the movie, I'll just say as vaguely as possible, she rushes out on stage. There's a moment where she rushes out on stage and something surprising happens. That moment completely caught me off guard, and I think that was fully intentional. And the way that they portray the confusion of that moment and the abruptness and the suddenness of the emotional and narrative shift with the cinematography is masterful. It's so clear and concise and wonderfully presented. So definitely got to go with Tar for that. Costume design. We have Babylon, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I don't know, what the fuck is that? I don't even know what that is. Someone named Riz. Oh, actually, I'm actually not practicing any music for the rest of the night. It's quiet hours at my apartment, so I cannot play piano anymore. I gotta turn that off, but thank you for reminding me. But certainly next time I'm doing music would be an option. Costume design. So for me, I've only seen Black Panther, Elvis, and everything. I guess actually, probably everything, or excuse me, probably Black Panther. I think I will give it to Black Panther for this one because, you know, superhero outfits. Also, Wakanda has such a unique culture to itself that's meant to draw on real world cultures, but also be its own thing. That's super inspired. And also just in my memory, they're super memorable. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Black Panther, I would give costume design. Okay, here's another big category. That is directing. We have Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. I've seen all of these ones. At school tomorrow. Good night. All right. Good night, Riz. For best directing, you know what? I gotta give it to the man. I gotta give it to the all-time man. Known for his directing. One of the all-time directors of everything. That is Steven Spielberg, because the specificity and the emotional resonance of his direction in The Fabelmans does not feel like any movie he has done before. And that's fucking impressive as fuck, man. The fact that The Fabelmans, the fact that I've seen now like 25 or 26 Steven Spielberg movies, and The Fabelmans actually stands out as having a unique directorial tone and voice is just something special, man. You can tell this movie meant a lot to him. Like, obviously it did, but I thought, frankly, I thought the trailers for this movie really did not do it justice at all. The trailers for this movie kind of made it come off just a little too overly sentimental, a little too cheesy. Excuse me. But yeah, I wrote a lot about it in my review on Letterboxd, but there are moments in this movie that really genuinely feel like they were pulled straight from Steven Spielberg's diary. Like, they are very, very personal and immaculately conceptualized and realized aspects of him growing up that were so incredibly powerful. So yeah, I'm gonna go with The Fabelmans. Steven Spielberg, he doesn't have enough recognition, guys. He needs more. Documentary feature film, I have not seen any of these. Documentary short, I have not seen any of these. Editing, this is another big category. I like this category. We have Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere, Tar, Top Gun Maverick. Ooh, this one I might give to Top Gun Maverick. Because you have I think, like, if anything, Top Gun Maverick was a movie that came together specifically because of its practical utilization of actual stunts, actual planes, and the editing. I mean, I think I'm actually gonna give it to Tar because just on a purely personal level, that was really good. Although I haven't given anything to Everything Everywhere yet. So this is a toss-up for me. This is a toss-up. Like, maybe I think my personal favorite editing was Tar. I think the emotional conditioning of the editing, and again, the way the cinematography and the editing in Tar come together to really present a specific tone and a specific pace. Tar starts off as a very, very, very slow, incredibly wordy, dense, kind of hard to follow drama. Like, it's just a drama. It's one of the most dramas I've ever seen. But as the story progresses and we learn more about Lydia and her situation kind of unravels, the more her situation unravels, the tone of the movie really shifts to more of a thriller. The editing becomes quicker. The cinematography becomes quicker. The cuts become a bit more disjointed, intentionally disjointed. And again, I mentioned earlier with cinematography, there's a surprise moment where Lydia rushes up on stage. That's all I'll say about context for that scene. At the end of the movie where that happens, and that scene is so... It was like my biggest surprise of the year. That individual scene was my biggest surprise of 2022 in terms of filmmaking. And the editing, I would say even more than the cinematography, the editing is what lends itself to that moment being so successful. So I gotta give it to Tar again, baby. And it's very disappointing. I gotta say, it's very disappointing not seeing RRR nominated for any of these categories, because I'm sure it's gonna be nominated for International Feature and Best Picture, but like I think RRR really deserves a lot of praise that it's not getting from the Oscars. Where's the stunt category? Like, come on. We need a best stunt team, best stunt work category. It's long overdue, and I think RRR would absolutely win that. Excuse me. Best International Feature. Wait a minute, it's not nominated? What the fuck? I've only seen All Quiet on the Western Front of these, but that is actually quite shocking that RRR is not nominated for Best International Feature. Okay, wow, that's a huge disappointment. What the fuck? Makeup and hairstyling, Quiet on the Western Front, Batman, Black Panther, Elvis the Whale. I'm gonna give it to Batman. I'm going to give it to Batman. We have the Riddler, we have Commissioner Gordon, we have Batman himself. It's all incredibly intentional. It's supposed to be very messy and gothic. But yeah, good stuff. Very good. Oh, you know what? I think maybe the Whale is going to get this one, though. Because just I've heard so much about the makeup and hairstyling in that movie. Music, it is All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere, and The Fablemans. You know what? I would not say that any music really stood out to me this year. So I don't know. I really don't. I don't have an answer for this. I don't remember any music standing out in my mind as like explicitly great or thoughtful or compelling. So yeah, I don't know. Music. Oh yeah, not to from RRR. Hold My Hand. What is that? The only one of these that is remotely memorable to me is Natu from RRR, which is very memorable. Wonderful moment, wonderful scene, and I think that song kind of recurs throughout the movie. So definitely RRR for best original song. Can't believe it wasn't nominated for best foreign feature. That's fucked up, man. Following that, we have Best Picture. This is going to be the final category, my friends. And of course, there are now, what, 10 nominees? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 10. The nominees for Best Picture are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar 2, Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere, The Fablemans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness was nominated over RRR? What? Okay, that's dumb. RRR deserves to be up here for sure. If not purely for the fact that Indian cinema has been like so fucking overlooked, myself included. I'm not an Indian cinema connoisseur by any means, but RRR is brilliant. So brilliant. Tied for first place. 5-way tie, baby. And Women Talking, I have not seen that. So, Best Picture. I mean, this is kind of, I guess this is kind of revealing a lot about my list. About how my list was tied for first place. 5-way tie. I don't know, I feel like I'm good. I think just on a purely technical, analytical level, I think I gotta give it to Tar. Again. Either Tar or honestly Avatar 2. Like, considering what Avatar did for visual effects, and also the fact that it was an incredibly enjoyable, fun, blockbuster movie that also had a pretty strong script, very strong messaging, very loud messaging, very effective, heartbreaking messaging, I would give it to either Tar or Avatar 2 between these choices. Also, Elvis, like for Best Picture, I don't know. All the other categories Elvis was nominated for, I agree with, but not this one. I think the more like emotional scenes that were meant to portray Elvis in his decline, and like the more kind of like scenes that showed him with his family and dealing with personal shit and like kind of going through the ringer, I feel like those scenes were kind of handled in a more lopsided manner, just not the most effective. So yeah, I would give it to Tar or Avatar 2. Tar, Avatar. Oh my god, it's a fucking sign. It's got to be one of those. They're the two Tar movies of the year. So that's going to do it for my 2023 Oscar nom reactions. And the ceremony is going to be in about a month and a half. Sunday, March 12, 2023. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking about it on stream. I'd say I'm more invested in the movies this year because I feel like previous years I somehow managed to kind of not see as many of the nominees as I did this year. This year I've seen most of the nominees, especially the more prominent ones. So I really just got to see the whale. That's really kind of it to check things off. So yeah, that's going to do it for me tonight on the stream, friends. So I'm going to head out now. I'm going to turn off the stream, but I might do something kind of wacky. Because I woke up at fucking 5 p.m. today, right as the sun was going down, and I really, really hate waking up anywhere in the range of like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. because it's really depressing because then I'm only awake for like 4 hours, like 2 to 4 hours of sunlight. So I think tonight I might do not a 24-hour stream. Fuck that. What I'm gonna try to do is stay awake for 24 hours until 5 p.m. tomorrow, and then maybe try to fall asleep at like, I don't know, hopefully somewhere between like 8 to 10 p.m. so I can wake up on Thursday and be awake with the sunshine. And also I'll be awake with the sunshine for the next, about 20 hours or so, 18 hours. Hopefully reset my schedule because it's definitely needed. So yeah, that's going to do it for me tonight, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the Alice in Chains review. I'm going to be doing a lot of video editing tonight. I'm going to upload this Oscar nom VOD to my YouTube, and I'm also going to try to upload my Alice in Chains album review. I really had a good time doing that. If you guys have any full albums, any full music albums that you would like me to review on stream, please keep them in mind for the next time I'm live. It is a redemption of 1,500 channel points for me to review an entire album on stream. Tonight we reviewed Dommy and JD Beck's Not Tight, which was requested by DKR Patty. I had a great time with that. I give it a decent, light to decent 4 out of 5. So yeah, keep an eye out on my YouTube for those highlights later. And in the meantime, have a good one. Goodbye. 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 Yeah.